Folks, welcome to the Radioactive Podcast. I'm John, of course. This is Backwoods. He is linked at the top of the chat, his channel. Very quickly, if you are a coffee club or a Patreon member or a member over at the Bunker, we're having an exclusive hangout this afternoon. But right now, let me just say, I spent a few minutes backstage trying to calm Backwoods down. And of course, we're talking about the trial, the verdict that came in yesterday. I'm sure y'all figured that out. A lot of people are talking about that. So before we get started, you got anything to say there, Backwoods?
Yeah, I want to say good morning to everybody. And can I get a 1 in the chat for all that is agreeing with me on I'm voting for a convicted felon and fuck Joe Biden? Just saying.
One in there as well.
Just saying.
I can get on board with that. So we're going to get into the legality of what's going on right now, and of course, we'll explore each and every one of these. There are a lot of ones in chat, and Chewbacca says FJB. So Trump was found guilty yesterday on all 34 counts, and he faces a maximum of 4 years in prison on each count. So in order to run for president of the United States, you got to check 3 boxes, okay? You got to be a natural born citizen of the United States. You have to be at least 35 years old, and you have to be a U.S. resident for at least 14 years. So yes, for the people that have been asking, Trump can still legally run for president of the United States. He was not disqualified any way, shape, or form yesterday. Some of the people on the left are pointing to Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which basically says that, it's a really long amendment, but no one who has previously held political office who has engaged in insurrection or rebellion may again hold public office. And Trump has already been to the Supreme Court and won that. So they cannot pin J6 on him. They've tried. They cannot disqualify him in that way. He's facing, again, a lot of jail time, possibly. But yeah, he can run for president of the United States. What are your thoughts, Backwoods?
Yeah, well, see, all right. A lot of this stuff, man, it goes way deeper. He obviously, yes, he can still run for president. I would say that they better be careful throwing that 14th Amendment out there, third clause, because, if you want to talk about who committed the real insurrection in 2020, there's a whole lot of proof there about who really, did insurrection. And, there is deep ramifications for what just happened yesterday. And I've seen a lot of people say things like, oh yeah, if he's guilty, they'd do it to us. And if we did what he did, and the problem is they didn't prove that he did anything. They never once proved in that court that he did anything wrong. They proved Michael Cohen did. They proved there was a lot of shenanigans and BS, but they still never once proved that he actually did anything wrong.
Hold on just a second, brother. We got a super chat. You awake over there?
Yeah.
Dane W. Americans are soft and won't do anything. Thoughts on that, Backwoods?
Well, I don't disagree. I've said before, I'll say it again, and it pisses people off when I say it, but it is what it is. But conservatives are pussies, man. They have no backbone. They have no spine. And they go, I'm conservative. I ain't no pussy. Well, how has conservatism worked out for you over the last 30 or 40 years? Because You know, one thing we got to understand is that if you don't hit the enemy in their fucking mouth and do it 10 times harder than they do, they'll never stop doing what they do. It's just like a bully. When you have a bully coming around bullying people, and he comes up to you to bully you, and you hit that sumbitch in his mouth and knock his teeth down his throat, guess what? He may fight you. Y'all may scrap like a mug. But I'm going to tell you what, the next time he gets ready to bully somebody, he'll look for somebody else to bully because he knows you're going to knock his damn teeth down his throat. And that's what I do not like about conservative movement. I don't. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a patriot. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Oh, I figured that much out. And I agree with what you're saying, but I think we need to be careful because, look, they're going to try and pin this man to some sort of insurrection, whether we have a false flag a ways down the road, whether people do rise up. He needs to at least keep himself distanced from anything that happens and stick to campaigning on the important stuff and then make changes once he gets into office. That's just my opinion on that, though. Ballistic Squeeze, thank you. They're waiting to drop a prison sentence until the election. I think they're supposed to sentence him in a few days. Just my thoughts. Keep our heads on a swivel, everyone. I think they said just a few days. Shady, thank you. It ain't over, not by a long shot. Thoughts on that, Backwoods?
No, listen, I've always said I've seen so many people, man, who oh, my car broke down. Man, the world's ending. It's just horrible. I don't know what I'm going to do. You know, this happened. Listen, as long as you draw a breath, it ain't over. And you need to keep that attitude. Y'all out there listening, keep the attitude that as long as I draw a breath, nothing is over. Nothing. Because you always have a way out of a situation if you put your mind to it and you work hard. Sometimes it takes a little work. Sometimes you may feel like the world is completely against you, but it don't matter.
Yankee Watchdog, thank you. I do remember seeing that as well. So that may actually be accurate. Being sentenced a couple of days before the national convention.
Yes.
That may be what it was. Official 6, thank you very much. I think this is a divide and conquer game where Americans, we all need to stick together. I agree with the no tyranny, but there's no bringing everybody together now. I wish there were, but the people on the extreme left, you can't talk to these people. You can't sit down and have a conversation with these people because they want what they want and they are willing to get violent. I mean, we're in uncharted territory right now because this never happened to a former president. He's got an appeal system set up. Yeah, he gets to appeal this. Somebody was just asking, and that's probably going to last at least through the election cycle, assuming we have an election. And legal experts don't really know. I mean, they're arguing back and forth because, again, uncharted territory, but they're saying if he faces any jail time, it would probably be after his 4 years in the White House if he gets elected. That would come before any kind of jail time or anything like that. Nobody knows if he would be able to pardon himself as president of the United States. But most legal experts believe if a Republican is voted in after Trump, like let's say his vice president becomes president, they could pardon him on day one and he would do no jail time. So it's not over by a long shot, but it's uncharted territory, Backwoods.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of this that's uncharted territory, and there's a reason why it's uncharted territory because it brings a lot of ramifications. If you think about it for a minute, man, they changed the statute of limitations. This is something that everybody needs to really pay attention to. What I talked about, the ramifications of what's happened. if he goes all the way to the Supreme Court, the survivalists, exactly, They should find it unconstitutional. Absolutely, they should, because it is. But I'm just saying, if this is allowed to stand, okay, you have to understand that when they changed the statute of limitations, that just took away the statute of limitations in this country. Okay, not just New York. That just made it a precedence. They just set a precedence that anywhere in the United States now, they can go, you know what? We really don't like this guy over here. And statute of limitations in our state is 10 years, right? 20 years ago, he did something, and now, he's trying to he's trying to get a liquor license, and only 2 of them are going to be given away in this county. You know what I'm saying? We're going to change the statute of limitations and go back and get him for what he did 20 years ago. So see, once they did that, now they can do that anywhere in the state. So statute of limitations now no longer exist as long as this is allowed to stand. Think about that one for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of court cases, you understand, a lot of court cases, when they make decisions, it's based off of, well, supposedly, allegedly, it's supposed to be
prior
based
decisions,
off of law,
right?
but prior decisions, and based off of law. So you see what I'm saying?
Things just changed dramatically moving forward.
Yes. It just made this to where, if you did a crime 20 years ago and your statute of limitations in your state is 7, and I'll tell you another one. In the state of Arkansas, the statute of limitations is 7 years for most everything, right? From what I remember, is like 7 years. So like on if you do you know in Arkansas, if you live with someone for 7 years, right? A statute of limitations runs out and you become basically
Common law married.
Common law marriage. Yeah, you basically become married. See, now think about it. They could just go in now and just be like, there ain't no statute of limitations. You lived with somebody for a couple of months, and that person goes in and tries to sue you. Y'all break up, and they try to sue you. You see what I'm saying? They for half your shit. Well, they're it's like, no, wait, we had to live together for 7 years. That's a statute of limitations on that. No, it's not. Not anymore. I mean, you see what I'm getting? There's all kinds of little things of ways they can spin this shit. And everybody needs to understand.
Yeah. Daryl P., I'm so sorry. Daryl P. said he got hit with the Joe Biden ad. Joe Biden's got ads on YouTube asking for money. Should he donate money backwoods? Should he donate to Joe Biden?
Oh, hell no. But I'm wondering if he might have thrown up a little in his mouth whenever he seen the Joe Biden ad.
It's possible.
It's like,
so y'all out there in chat, out there in the internet land, it's very important to understand again that they want to disqualify Trump. They do not want this man running for president in November. All right. So they are going to turn now to the 14th Amendment. J6 again is off the table. It's done been to the Supreme Court. In my opinion, right now, Trump needs to be very, very smart. He needs to avoid any kind of talk when it comes to J6 or even the trial, because he does not need, he's got a knack for saying something stupid. His words can be misconstrued. They can try and tie him to something, an event that might happen or something like that. Honestly, man, I think the debates for him now do nothing but hurt Donald Trump, because we're talking about 2 debates on liberal TV stations where Joe Biden's going to get his questions in advance, and they're probably going to do nothing but ask Trump about the trial in J6, hoping that he says something stupid.
No, I'm gonna disagree with you on this one, brother.
Okay, go for
it. Here, if he now doesn't show up to the debates, you know what they're going to say? Yeah, he's not showing up because they know we're going to bring up how he's a convicted felon, and he ain't got no argument for that. See, that's what I'm saying. This is, understand, everybody out there, understand. Get this word in your head, because this is what you're going to hear until November. Convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon. That's what they are going to, I'm talking, go insane with convicted felon. Okay. And if he does not show up to these debates now, they're going to say that, yeah, he's not showing up because he can't defend him being a convicted felon. You know what I'm saying? So I would go in there and I would continue to, I would go in them debates, and every time they said something about, well, what do you, how are you going to go in there and be the president as a convicted felon? I'd be like, well, I can go in there and be a president as a convicted felon because my economy was 10 times better than yours. People were not going through their savings. People were not adding to their credit card debt. People were able to afford gas and bring groceries home. That's what I would focus on. Because if you go and look at all the polls, and I know polls are rigged and this and that and whatever, but even the CNN and MSNBCs are saying in these polls that the economy is pretty much the number one issue.
It is. And that, I mean, you're making good points, but my whole thing is, who is he going to convince? Like, what does he gain from a debate against Joe Biden at this point? He's not going to convince extreme liberals that he's the guy, right? He has nothing to gain. I mean, they can say, well, he's not showing up because he's a convicted felon, but Trump supporters are going to back him no matter what. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
Maybe, again, to your point, maybe if he shows up and instead of answering the questions that they try and nail him with, if he just brings up the issues, that would work. But I don't think that I would show up and go into detail on J6 or the trial or anything.
But what you have to understand is that it's not going to matter if he shot someone in the face to the main Trump supporters, okay?
Yeah.
To the MAGA movement. Where it matters is these independents and these people who mainly the independents. I seen I was looking through X earlier, and I seen like one guy posted a video, and he was like, bro, I've never voted before in my life, and I'm voting this year, and I'm voting for Trump.
Yeah.
People like that are going to be the ones that matter if he goes to a debate or not. Because if they turn on the TV and be like, man, I want to see, Trump go in and debate, I'm voting for him this time, these independents, I'm going to vote for Trump. And then he doesn't show up. They're going to go, oh, dang, wait a minute. What? The MAGA supporters, it ain't going to matter if he shows up and debates or he don't, or it don't matter. It's all the ones that are in between the left and the right that count. You see what
I would almost, and this is just me, I would almost, just to troll Joe Biden and discredit him because he's such a horrible president, I would almost wait until the last minute, pull out of these debates, and then challenge Kennedy to a couple of debates and not invite Joe Biden.
Listen, Trump is the ultimate troll. I'm telling you, he can piss Biden off and make Biden. Yeah, thank you. He can piss Biden off and make Biden say really dumb shit, which he does anyway. And
he does that anyway, right?
And it would really be easy to do that. You see what I'm saying? It would be easy to get Joe Biden confused. You see what I mean? So once he goes in there and gets him. And then you got these people that are like, man, I really don't like Trump, man. I really, I mean, Biden, I don't know. I may vote for Biden, and then Trump goes in there and gets him all bumfuzzled and gets him all rattled up and gets him all screwed up. Now think about this. They're going to be looking at him going, damn, Biden can't even, debate. I mean, You know what I'm saying?
All
So
right.
those,
I'll
even though,
see to you. I'll see this to you. If Trump brings his absolute A game, and if he sticks to the issues, he could benefit from these debates. But if he shows up and he's just halfway doing it, or he gets off on rambles and he starts talking about stuff that they can pin him for insurrection or try to, there's no
I don't
benefit in that.
I don't think he's going to do that, man. I'm telling you, I think he's going to talk about how, I mean, you go in there, you talk about how all the shell companies that Congress has been finding that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden have, man,
Yeah.
they're talking like over 20 shell companies now where money laundering has been going on. I would bring that kind of stuff up. I would stay completely away from, I would, if there's any kind of like Joe Biden's like your people are insurrectionists, I'd be like, I don't remember seeing any of my people out there in the summer of love or the riots,
Right.
throughout all of this, when millions and millions and millions of dollars were being burnt to the ground by your people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's I really believe that it would be a bad move for him to not go to these debates now.
Okay. What do y'all think in chat before we move forward? Should he go ahead with the debates, or should he do something different over on the side? A little side move there.
Put one
Um.
if he should go to the debate, and two if he shouldn't.
Uh-oh. Oh man. Here we go.
Go.
Yeah,
See,
some
they're
people
all
are saying
saying
go
go.
already.
Debate.
Debate.
Go.
I mean, I would definitely want to watch it. I just, I would hope that he doesn't do any political damage to himself, because they don't want him to run in November, man. They looking for any kind of reason, any kind of dirt. But everybody apparently wants him to debate. So I guess you're the valedictorian this morning, son.
Hold on. Roy Batty says the debate moderator is a radical leftist. Well, guess what? Strength shown. You can talk about strength all the time, all you want to, about how strong of a president he would be. But going in and facing a radical moderator like that and slapping them down, making them look stupid, is what Trump is really good at. And you got to think there are people out there that are going to look at that and go, you know what? This man, Trump, really does need to be president, because he's going to be talking to world leaders, and there are some radical ass world leaders. Look at what he did with Kim Jong-un. He slapped Kim Jong-un around for many a days, calling him little rocket man and all kinds of stuff, right?
Oh, I miss those days so much, man.
And okay, and then little rocket man calmed his ass down, and then Trump went across there and stood in the demilitarized zone with no protection just around him for good faith show. And I'm telling you, little rocket man cut his bullshit out. You see what I'm saying?
Same with Syria. Remember Trump hitting them in the
Yes.
middle of the night and then not even
Yes.
telling anybody until the next morning. Yeah, we hit him.
Yeah,
Lessons had to
exactly.
be
See,
learned.
so him going in there against a radical moderator like that, a radical leftist moderator, Trump is too good and too smart. You see what I'm saying? To let that leftist moderator win against him. Dude, there is so much dirt on all of these people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would even go as far as if they pull some kind of stupidity, this leftist moderator, you know what I would do? I would look at him and go, man, you're fake news. Everybody knows it. I mean, I don't even know. I'm not
They
even.
probably cut his microphone off though, man. That's
I'd be like, I'd be like, you're fake news. Everybody knows it. I'm not even going to address that dumb comment. In fact, what I do want to talk about is how, all you Americans out there who are struggling to pay your bills, elect me, and I will change this economy.
Yeah.
I will end the war, and I would just keep on. And that would show a lot of these independents and these people that are not sure, because there still are people out there that are not sure who they're going to vote for. There still are people out there like that. This thing that happened yesterday is making a whole lot of minds up, and Trump needs to continue that. He needs to grab hold of that. I I texted Ghost last night, the guy that ghostdesigns.shop that makes these.
Oh, I thought maybe you were a spiritual medium or something.
No, that these wonderful, beautiful shirts, ghostdesigns.shop.
Oh yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So I texted him last night and I said, new shirt. I'm voting for a convicted felon in November.
Yeah.
And
let me ask you about this.
Donald Trump on there.
Just last week, Reuters ran a national poll. Now, how accurate it was, I don't know. But according to the poll they ran last week, 31% of Republicans said they would not vote for Trump if he was convicted. So do you think that poll is accurate? Number one. Number two, are y'all press a number? I don't even care what number in chat if you're still voting for Trump. I'm still voting for Trump.
Well, see,
nobody told me.
What's up, Nana? You got to understand, man, that there's people out there, and this is some of these feel good fucking Republicans, just like I've talked about feel good preppers and all this, and they. These people out there, I'm not voting for him. Can't believe it, and
right.
I mean, it is what it is, bro. I don't believe. I believe that the economy, the bullshit that's going on, we're about to freaking go into World War III. We are in World War III.
Yeah,
I believe all of that will, because that same person that's saying them however many Republicans that said they weren't voting for Trump if he's convicted,
almost a third of them.
When it comes down to the nut cutting to the very end, when voting time starts, and on the way to the polling station or the voting deal or the day before, and they're like, I'm not going and voting, and they go over there and they buy groceries and they look at their bank account and they're like, man, see, money talks and bullshit walks. That's the one thing that a lot of people are not putting into this equation, because they're all focused on, well, he's a convicted felon. Well, this, well, that, well, this, and this is why I said conservatives are pussies, because, oh, he's a convicted felon. I mean, and he makes mean tweets and he grabbed them by the pussy. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So
we're radioactive this morning. I forget. Go ahead, brother. Here's what I want to know while you're catching your breath over there, old man. These people that say they're not going to vote for Trump because he's a convicted felon, who are they going to vote for? Is it, oh, he's a convicted felon, I'm riding with Biden now? Are people really that stupid? They're going to all of a sudden start voting for Joe Biden? Are they going to vote for Kennedy? Are they going to sit at home in their diaper? Like, what are they going to do?
If anybody out there, if anybody out there sees any of this on any kind of social medias, YouTube's, X, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, wherever you hang out at, if anybody sees that they're not voting for Trump because he's a convicted felon now, ask them, say, who are you voting for then? Make them say, I'm not voting for anybody, and say, well, that means that you're voting for Biden. Because if you don't vote for Trump, you are voting for Biden. You are giving the votes to Biden. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
Thank you, Yankee Watchdog, for pointing that out. Yes, super chats and PayPal and stuff like that. Your support is appreciated, because monetization went out of the window probably 5 minutes in. It usually does on this one.
Right.
So there is no alternative. Like Biden's not an alternative. I'm sorry, Kendi for me is not an alternative.
Nope.
Patriots, real patriots are backed into a corner. Real conservatives are backed into a corner, not the ones you're talking about, the wishy-washy ones. But here's the thing for me. It's not about silencing Trump. Or you could even say Alex Jones. It was never about silencing him either. It's about silencing us. You watching this right now or listening to this. It's about making you shut up.
Nope.
They're going after Trump because they're going after you.
Yes.
You agree with that, Backwoods?
Absolutely, man. That's what I was talking about earlier, with the ramifications of what just happened, man. I mean, dude, they are slowly but surely making it to where they can do anything they want to anybody. And when people say, I'm not voting, I'm not getting involved, but I'm not doing it now. Well, you're just telling those that want to take all your rights away, all your shit away. You're just telling them, okay, I'm submitting to you. That's what you are. If you don't go and vote, you are submitting to the enemy. So go ahead. If you're not going to vote and you're not going to get involved, go ahead and go buy your fucking commie flag and tattoo the son of a bitch on your forehead and walk around and let everybody know you're a fucking commie because you didn't vote and now you support the enemy.
Here's my thing with people that don't vote. It's a personal choice, whatever. But I don't understand the obsession with them trying to convince other people not to vote. What's the other solution? They never provide a solution, right? They'll say 1776 2.0 from the couch, but nothing ever gets done. Why convince other people not to vote? You know what I mean?
Well, because they don't want to be the only one looking like a commie enemy jackass. That's why. Right on.
Sorry about
because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's something about Democrats, man, and I can't quite think of what it was.
I know what it is. Hold on. I'm getting something in my earpiece here. You ready?
Getting it?
Yeah. You're going to offend Democrats if they're watching this right
Democrats.
Now. What's that? You broke up.
Fuck Democrats. They are the enemy of the United States.
Was that it?
That's it. That's what I heard. That seems to be the local talk of the town. Just saying.
So, folks, what we're trying to say is, Trump, we the people, we are the threat to the agenda. Trump is just the spokesperson. He is just the figurehead of this movement. That's why so many people, in my opinion, show up to Trump rallies, because so many people, where he's a populist, can identify with what he's saying. And when they come after Trump, you feel like they're coming after you in some way. This, again, just my opinion, but look, they're not going to get rid of Trump because Trump has a large family. They're all into politics. The Trump family is going to be in politics for a very, very long time. And here's another thing. We know what Backwoods thinks about Democrats, right? We got to be fair. I'm all about equality here. You know this, right? Equality. Y'all want to know what Democrats think about you? The people watching and listening, I pulled some direct comments from both X and I pulled them from YouTube on the CNN video announcing that Trump was found guilty on all counts. This is what the other side thinks of us. All right. It's a beautiful day in the United States of America. This is after he was convicted, somebody said. Deplorable doesn't even begin to describe these people being us, right? Mm-hmm. Trump supporters want to trash and vulgarity for America. MAGA men are too emotional.
Wait, whoa. Real quick. Go back to that last comment that you just said.
MAGA men are too emotional.
No, the one just before that.
Trump supporters want to trash America and they want vulgarity.
Vulgarity. Wait, hold on a minute. Didn't some Biden administration people, some Biden, didn't they get caught having sexual encounters, two guys in Congress in there? In the skip
sure.
or wherever it was? Yeah, they got caught red-handed. They had, not that there's anything wrong with the transgender movement. There's a lot of shit wrong with the transgender movement, but let's just say they had a bunch of transgenders up there at the White House dancing around naked.
That's right.
Dancing around naked, and they want to call us trashy and vulgarity? Come on, man. Come on. I don't know. Joe Biden and showered with a certain person that might be of his daughter. I don't know. Vulgarity? They call us vulgarity? They can go fuck themselves. How about that, man? Vulgarity?
Here's some more. I'm gonna go through the rest of the list here, brother.
Wait, hold on.
We are typical cult members.
Hold on, hold on. I ain't done yet on that one. You
not
got
done being vulgar.
You got Pete Buttplug up there, married to a man, and he's trying to breastfeed a baby. They adopted a baby, and he's trying to breastfeed a baby. Vulgarity? You want to talk about vulgarity? What about Nancy Pelosi? What was Paul Pelosi doing?
Probably avoiding Nancy Pelosi if he's smart.
Yeah, he was getting it from somebody, but it wasn't Nancy Pelosi.
You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
I'd be going out fishing by myself a lot, staying away from that old hag.
That joker. Well, he got. There was some real hammer time going on up in Paul Pelosi's house while Nancy was gone. You know what was going on up in there, man. Come on.
I don't want to know.
Tell me.
Honestly.
I
don't know. I don't want to know.
We're the vulgarity? Okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you.
Right,
drinking sweet MAGA tears. These poor babies need some tissues. The best is yet to come. That's an excellent comment, because these people are gaslit into oblivion. Real Americans are riding with Biden. That was an actual comment. I saw that on X. 400-pound men now demanding civil war. And finally, convoys of hover rounds will unite to support the felon. So now you know what these people think about you, in case you think Backwoods is being so mean to the extreme left. Or we should all hold hands and get along. Now you know what they think about us.
There ain't no such thing as coexist with these people, man. I'm sorry, but the only way you can coexist with leftists, these leftist lunatics out there, is that if you fall in line with them. That's it. You fall in line with them, and you're good. See, I can be friends with people that we don't agree on everything. It's all good. We don't have to agree on everything. Leftists ain't like that. These libtards are not like that. They freaking, you either agree 100% with them, or you're all the words they use, the deplorables and the vulgarities, and you're the misogynist and a homophobe and a xenophobe. And it's like,
liquor.
I ain't scared of fucking nobody, so I ain't got no phobia. How about that?
You got a phobia for upside down Snickers bars.
Oh man!
Last I checked.
there was. Man, never mind.
Trump last night put out a short statement, but during this statement, he said he was glad that the trial was over, and he told Joe Biden to buckle up. He said he's still running for president, and now he has more time to campaign now that the trial is finished. And as I said earlier this week, I don't think that this verdict is going to move the needle much. If anything, it's going to gain steam for Donald Trump, I think.
Donald Trump's donation platform crashed yesterday from all the donations.
Seen that.
They had to work on it and get it back up, and they finally got it back up. And I seen on X last night, I mean, just hundreds of people posting, you know, where they donated 1,000, they donated this.
Yeah, people were making fun of them on X for doing it.
Andrew Tate
Left.
Donated bunches of money, and Tristan Tate, you know, his little brother, they donated bunches of money. I mean, people are all kinds of people, man. And like I said, I've been seeing these videos where they're, you know, making all these donations and stuff like that. Yeah, the severe weather it's really weird, man. It's been going north of us and south of us. It's like really bad as it gets right to our county, and then it just kind of it's been splitting every time, man. We've been avoiding a lot of bad weather, actually. A lot of it just north and just south of us, but yeah, and I can't wait to meet you either, man. It'll be a good time next week at the Ozark Mountain, Missouri meetup.
Here's a question for you and also for chat, Backwoods. What happens next? Do you think there's going to be a replacement candidate parachute in for Joe Biden because they know he can't beat Trump head to head and they can't put him in jail right now? Or do you think there's going to be a major event happen that they're going to try to pin on Donald Trump somehow?
False flag incoming.
You think so?
Let's just say, I don't know, JFK, Abraham Lincoln type shit. False flag incoming. I'm just telling you, that's they are getting desperate. It shows that they outright blatantly broke the law and changed the law and made up shit as they went in this trial. They are anybody out there that thinks that Trump was guilty in all this. Maybe there is some guilt in there, but I would say that we could actually take that all the way to Congress, because I have something here that kind of falls in the same line of, did y'all know
this is an article from 2017, right?
2017, CNN did an article. Congress has paid out $17 million in sexual harassment claims. Congress, that's the House and the Senate. They have an Office of Compliance, the Congress does, that handles the harassment complaints. In a 20-year period, there were 260 settlements that have been paid at a total of $17 million. And understand, that money comes directly from the Treasury, which is directly where your taxes that you pay go to. So that is $17 million.
Tell these people how hard it is to find a list of the offenders.
Yeah, they pretty much went in and made it where you can't find a list of them at all.
Thank you, Art Nanny. No coincidence that the announcement made for permission to use our stuff. Exactly right. 10 or 20 minutes after the verdict was read, what Art Nanny is talking about is Joe Biden greenlit Ukraine and allies to use U.S.-made weapons on Russia. So things just escalated big time over there between Ukraine and Russia's pretty pissed off about it. But he snuck that in while everybody was watching the verdict.
Yeah, so exactly, and that's the whole thing, is there's always something in there. I had that wrote down actually. Biden administration gave the green light for Ukraine to
Oh, you was
use
on top of it, wasn't you?
heavy weapons to strike Russia and offensively. So yeah, this is the kind of thing they do. This is why they do things on Friday evening. They're saying that um, you know that Biden administration went in and gave this permission to Ukraine. That means that we are effectively against striking against Russia.
Involved.
Yeah,
Yeah, involved.
we're yeah. I mean, we all knew this. I mean, it's they play stupid, but we all knew that we're directly involved. But I mean, he just basically just said, hey, here.
Let
You know,
let me pitch an idea to you
see
and also
yourself
to
here.
chat. Y'all let me know what you think. So for those that don't know, Zelensky is no longer the duly elected president. His term has run out, and they did not have the scheduled election, and he's still in charge, which is ridiculous. Could things be escalating? Do you think that maybe Joe Biden greenlit this because they're trying to get out of having an election here to where we have Joe
Yes,
Biden longer than the 4 years? And how
yes,
dangerous is that?
yes. That's the whole point. Is they're going to do something desperate. Now you have to understand that Joe Biden cannot declare war. The president cannot declare war. Congress has to do that. So even when you look at what Joe Biden is doing, it could be construed as a declaration of war. So by him saying, yeah, you can just go, do this. Well, use our weapons, our heavy weapons, our big shit. Well, there you go, right there. He's you know what I'm saying? He could be charged for that because New York just set a precedence that you can charge and convict a former president. You see what I'm saying? The ramifications of what happened yesterday is there is a lot of stuff, if this is allowed to stand, that could go back on Obama, drone striking the American citizen. Even if the American citizen was playing with terrorists and hanging out with terrorists, American citizen still gets a day in court. You see what I'm saying? That guy didn't get a day in court. He got drone striked by the Obama administration. Obama personally said, strike his ass, kill him. So, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff that, the Democrats have been notorious for burning down the forest to roll over the ashes.
Yeah, that's a good
They
way of
did it.
putting it.
They did it back in several years ago when Harry Reid used the nuclear option, and I can't remember what it was for. It was some big deal that the Republicans were fighting against, and the Democrats had just enough power that they said, okay, we're going to use the nuclear option. And Mitch McConnell come out and told Harry Reid, said, don't do this. Don't do this because you're going to set a precedent and this could turn around. And you see what I'm saying? Well,
Right.
when he went ahead and done the nuclear option back then, and when he did, that set that precedent. See, so all this stuff that is going on, man, is setting precedents. They're proving again and again and again that they will lie, cheat, steal, make up laws as they go, make the rules as they go, just to keep power.
We were just talking about that before we went live, how the left rewrites the rules as they go, and the right points to the rule books. You know what I mean? It's totally defensive. They're gutting America's institutions
Yes.
daily. Like, again, rewriting the rules, as you're saying. So now that we have a president who is a convicted felon, we could see this every 4 years. We could see this with every single president moving forward. You know what I mean? And they're just going to continue to move the goalpost. Do you think Trump supporters from now until November will be targeted?
Oh, absolutely. We're already targeted.
I mean, more so than we have been.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. They are showing their desperation, man, and everything they do is backfiring on them.
Zaza, thank you. Now that Trump is a convicted felon, he will not be allowed into Canada. This is crazy nuts. I mean, that is crazy. I didn't even think about the ramifications of that. Certain countries he's not going to be able to visit as
It
a
don't matter.
even if he's the president of the United States, he's
It
not going
don't
to be able to visit certain places
where
now.
where are you at? North Carolina?
Yeah.
Where is Zaza at? Canada? And yet we're all speaking to each other. So
No,
okay,
I understand, but if something needs to get done in a foreign country, you know what I mean? Like let's say Trump decides, okay, I'm going to pull us out of NATO. You know what I mean? He can't even go to the meetings in certain countries to make that announcement. He's going to have to do it from the White House. He's going to look like a pariah. He's going to look like a Putin who can't leave the country or something like that.
so I mean, okay. I mean, you see what I'm getting at? I mean, it's like who cares, man? We got communication ways of communication. I mean that's and I'm not even sure if he does become president if that overrides the conviction of a felon while he is president.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Nobody knows
See,
because it's never happened. When they put the rules in place, they were never anticipating they would go after a former president or a
and
sitting president in that way.
and now that might be something to be brought up about the Supreme Court and him being a convicted felon and not being able to be allowed in certain countries. Now, see, the Supreme Court, I know the rules or the way of the game is you got to go through the appeals courts and yada yada, and then the Supreme Court will hear you out. But the Supreme Court also is the ultimate court of the land, and they can override all the appeals courts and go ahead and bring this case in. If let's say it looks like he's Trump is going to be the clear winner, they could come in and give a issuance of, let's say, on day one, and say, well, since he is president, we're this sham of a case, we're going to what is that called? Where it's not is it stay the case? I'm trying to think of the word for it, but basically,
So.
they could go in and say we're taking and the conviction is thrown out at this time, and he's no longer a convicted felon while he is president, because he's going to need to travel to countries such as Canada or Australia or some of these countries that don't allow convicted felons in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I see what you're saying.
yeah, they could go in and say, just because of this special circumstance, we're going to throw his conviction out until we can go back and hear the case after he's no longer president. Just like we were talking about earlier, what you mentioned about how he's not going to probably be like actually spend any jail time or whatever it is until after he's no longer president. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let me see here. The prepping artists, they don't actually know because again, this has never happened before. There's no rule against it specifically, but they know if he tries to pardon himself, that's going to court and it might be overturned. Now, the president that follows him, should Trump get elected, the president, 4 years down the road could pardon him day one. They do know that. But again, this has never happened before. That it's crazy, man. Just think about it like this for a second, Backwoods. This is how crazy our world is right now. We've got Zelensky, who is no longer a legitimate president, receiving money from the United States, from France, from allies for war. our weapons are going to be used now against Russia, which is
Right.
going to drag us into this war. The Chinese are buying up the United States from the inside, and our president's not going to be allowed to, if he's elected, visit some of these other countries. That's jacked up, man. That whole situation is jacked up.
Kathy B says, if ruling is overturned, does the convicted felon term go away? Yes.
Yeah.
The Democrats will still try to say, well, no, we convicted him, and the what's the conservative Supreme Court, went in and overturned it, our conviction. They can still holler, but if the Supreme Court goes in and overturns it, or at least throws it out until there can be until they can hear the case after Trump is no longer president, then yeah, the actual conviction of felon goes away.
Now my question is, because it's in New York, Gene is saying this, would it go to the state Supreme Court? Is that the top that it goes to, or would it actually move out to the federal court?
It could, but even the Supreme Court can hear state cases. There was one in I was trying to think of where that was, that because you have the right, everybody has the right to take anything that is being charged against them all the way to the Supreme Court. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Are we officially a banana republic? If not, how close are we?
Absolutely. I mean, we're in banana hammock territory.
Banana hammock.
But banana republic. Wait. Mark says the RNC may use this to nominate Nikki Haley. That's not going to happen. Do you not know who is like second in command and or like at the RNC? It's Laura Trump. She's I mean, they went in and fired a ton of freaking people, man. Fired a ton of people in the RNC and hired a bunch of new people that they have been vetting and stuff. A lot of people probably don't know this or not seen this, but there is some stuff going on that I think it's Hillsdale and Liberty. I can't remember exactly who all, but they have been working on a deal to where Trump can fire. They want to have it to where Trump can fire, like, it's way up into the thousands of people the day he walks into office, and they have these people to replace him, to replace all of them. So, he's the RNC. Yeah, they're not going to vote Nikki Haley. It's not happening. No. It's Laura Trump is pretty much in charge over there. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Explain, because you were explaining to me everything that went down with this trial. It's a kangaroo court. I mean, it's political hit job, in my opinion. How much stuff went on during this trial that should not have went on?
Well, like 99.999% of the trial. One thing in New York, the law is that when the jury goes in to deliberate, they can't take the rules and stuff in with them. They have to study that up front and realize, and know that they're know the rules when they go in. So they didn't know the rules. They read some, but they kept getting they kept getting confused on it. So they kept asking the judge to hey, can we see this? Can we see this? Can we see this? And the judge, from what I understand, actually got pissed off about it. My personal opinion, because they came across so quickly with a conviction. Even after all the BS that they seen, I think, my personal opinion, I think they felt like if they didn't bring out a conviction, their ass would be on the chopping block next. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we have no idea who spoke to these people, who might have gotten to these people. This is one of the
Right.
most important cases in the history of this country, because during the election, he's the front runner. And for them not to spend that much time, you know what I mean? It's just like either somebody got to them and they were compromised, or they're just like bored with it and they don't want to be there. It's ridiculous, man.
Right. Well,
He
and
was never
that's
going to get a fair trial.
yeah. The rules were okay. The rules were explained by the judge. He told them, he gave them their instructions, and they gave them the rules. But you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that I'm gonna tell you. If I was in there, if I was one of the jury members, and I was seeing the shit show that's going on, I would be scared to come out with a not guilty verdict. I would be like,
Especially if
holy,
you're the only one back there.
yes,
It's like, no, he's not guilty. No, he's not
yeah,
guilty. You're marked at that point.
yeah, because you know they're going to tell on you. Somebody's going to tell on you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so, yeah, I would be like, man, the way this is rigged. I mean, and I'm not saying, don't get me wrong with, there would be, I'm sure there were probably half of them at least that probably hates the hell out of Trump and was like they were going to convict him regardless if
Yeah.
they if none of it was true, or what, you know what I'm saying, they were going to convict him regardless. But still, I'm going to say that there probably wasn't enough of them that inside their head they weren't going to convict him. You know what I mean? But they came out with a conviction just because of the shamble of a trial. I mean, I'd be sitting there, I'd be like, damn, man. You know what I mean?
J954, thank you. When are we going to stand up and stop talking it? How many folks are like Backwoods John and myself and are fed up with the establishment? I'm fed up, but here's what I want to see. I want to see Trump stick to the issues, beat the brakes off of Joe Biden in November. It not even be close, because I think he can. If he sticks to the issues, he can do that. Get in office, flush, like Backwoods was saying, just flush everybody. Everybody that's in the swamp, flush them, and then start investigating everybody, man. Because in my opinion, look, Trump may have been guilty. I don't know, but I can. To Backwoods' point earlier, a lot of people in politics are. He pointed to a 2017 article. This is just what they could find on Trump. They couldn't get him on anything else. So they threw this up, and it's just it's an election tactic, you know.
So I want to address a comment real quick. Connie A. I live in upstate New York. I wish I had the money to leave. This is a pure socialist state, corrupt as hell. Connie A. I'm gonna tell you. I want to say this, and I'm not trying to be mean by any means. I mean this in trying in a positive way. Many people traveled all across this country back in the days when we didn't have ice boxes and air conditioning and all these different things. They faced a lot of grizzly bears and mountain lions and Native Americans. I'm sure they knew they were going to face a lot of criminals on the trail, but they had that desire to want to better themselves. You see, so as long as you tell yourself, Connie, that you don't have the money to leave, you never will. I'm saying this in a nice way. You know what I mean? I don't mean to. I understand.
I would like to add that in New York, they're going to make it impossible for you to ever have enough money, to feel like you have enough money, because they have such high taxes, the cost of living and stuff like that.
Yes.
At some point, you got to go.
Yeah, and I understand you don't have the money to leave. I understand what you're trying to say, because trust me, I don't have a lot of money either. But you've got to I'm telling you right now, if I had to go and live in a shack, if I had to live in a tent to start out, there is no way I would stay in New York. There would not be anything that could keep me there. Period. Money, it wouldn't matter. If I had to walk, you know what I'm saying? If I had to walk out of New York, I would. I mean, I'm telling you, California, same way. Out, gone. I don't care what. See, and that's what you have to understand. What I'm trying to get at, and like I said, I'm not trying to bust you out or make you look bad. That's
No,
not
there are
what.
a lot of people in her position probably, or feel like they are.
Absolutely. But you got to understand is how bad do you want something? There is, I'll put it this way. I went and bought a $9,000 mower without 1 yard to mow. You know what I'm saying? It's how bad do you want something? How bad do you want it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I said earlier, as long as you're taking a breath, you have ways to do things. You're not, it's not done for you. But I'll leave you alone, Connie. I mean, I understand. I trust
No,
me.
you're fine.
It's
Rick is asking a good
trying to give her
question
some
here.
encouragement. Go ahead.
What if somebody's wife or husband maybe won't leave? What if somebody's ready to leave a place like New York or California and their better half just won't leave? How do you approach
I,
that?
I want to say that I will not give any marital advice about what may cause a divorce. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. You're like, I'm leaving. It don't matter.
Yeah, that's a hard, because that's really hard, man.
That is a tough one.
Because yeah, it's yeah, I'm going to say I respectfully decline to answer that question, because when you give someone advice on do you want to leave or not, there you go, Hutch. Thank you. Priorities. That's where what is your priorities, and where do your is your priorities your wife first? Is your priorities you want to get the hell out of there first? You know what I'm saying? It's going to depend on your priorities. That's as far as I want to go with that.
All right. So as we start to close down here, Backwoods, last question. What do you want people to take away from the podcast this morning? They saw Trump found guilty on all these charges. People are wondering about the state of the United States. If there'll be election, what that's going to look like, what it's going to look like in the United States leading up to the election. What do you want people to know?
We can only live day to day. I can't tell y'all what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. None of us know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. None of us ever know what's going to happen next week or the week after that. The one thing I can tell you, I said it before, I'll say it again. As long as you are taking breath, you are not defeated. You have to get involved locally first. If you are not involved locally, you're never going to change anything. You are in charge of you. Nobody else is. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming everything else, and take responsibility for yourself, and stand up and say, I'm going to make a change. When you make that change, when you make that decision, I've said when you prepare your mind properly, things will fall into place. And these things will fall into place for you as you move along, as long as you have that attitude. I like to say that the world will kick the shit out of you. Pull up your bootstraps and lace them up real good and kick the shit out of it right back. You know, you have to understand that things are going to continue to get crazier and crazier and stupider and stupider. Okay, you got to understand that this is what's going to happen. This is what's coming. It's already bad. We know this. Just be prepared mentally. Be prepared to be be prepared for even things that you never could think of. Don't be shocked about it. Be ready. Focus on yourself first. Focus on yourself first and get yourself right. Because if you're not right, you can't help nobody else. If you can't help yourself, you can't help nobody else, man. That's about the best way I can put it, I guess.
I've spoken like a poet. I would say I would add to that, me personally, don't get baited into doing anything stupid or highly illegal right now, because a lot of people are going to be pushing for that, the wrong kind of people. Some people are there, they're plants, they want a reaction, they want something to point to. And then on top of that, I would just say keep an eye on Russia and Ukraine, because I think it's getting ready to get really saucy over there. And I think Joe Biden is pulling us closer to that on purpose, maybe as an election strategy.
We'll remember this, kind of like what you said about there'll be a lot of people pushing for doing a lot of bad shit. Just remember, not all them people are really true patriots. A lot of them are from the other side, the enemy, and they're just trolling you. They're trying to get you to do something stupid. So you got to be smart. And one other thing is, fuck Joe Biden, fuck the feds, fuck
Yeah, right.
leftist commie that don't stand for America. They can all go fuck themselves. Period.
That's a great way to end it. I appreciate it, everybody. Again, if you're in the coffee club or a member on the Bunker Patreon, we're going to have a hangout this afternoon. I got to go to Home Depot, y'all, but I'll be back this afternoon. I appreciate it. Thank you, Backwoods. Again, he is linked at the top of the chat. Y'all go check his channel out if you choose to do so. Y'all take care and God bless.